All right, first video of the day. Why you can't enjoy anything anymore. Healthy gamer GG. Let's get it, man. Come on.
Today, we're going to talk about how TikTok is not trying to entertain you. It's trying to keep you bored. And TikTok was the big pioneer behind this, but now basically all the other platforms have jumped on board. And if we want to understand why we feel bored so much and how to feel less bored, we have to understand exactly what these apps are doing to our brain. So let's start with the basics. First question.
So question for y'all. Do y'all feel like Twitter, TikTok, social media is causing y'all to like not feel the same when it comes to like real world scenarios? Say you're at work, right? It's just boring. Like you may just be scrolling on TikTok and just scrolling, you know, you get your work done and whatnot, or work is so slow, like you can finish everything within like the last hour or two. Like you don't even need stress, you just need to kill time. And like you just scrolling on TikTok, watching shit, and it's just like eventually it starts to get to a certain point where bro, I can't imagine like not having my phone when I'm at work, you know? Yo, what's good, Mari? What's up, bro? Hey, appreciate you sliding through, gang. But yeah, bro, it's like, bro, when I go to work, it's like I just can't imagine. Yo, what's good, Cash?
Question is, what is boredom? Like from a scientific perspective, when you feel bored, what's going on in your brain? So my take is that boredom is a subjective feeling that correlates with your brain craving dopamine. So let's understand this for a moment. Let's say I feel hungry. Hunger is a subjective feeling. It's the way that I feel, but it correlates with some physiology. If my blood glucose is low, if my glycogen stores are empty, if my stomach doesn't have any food in it, these are the physical signals in my body that will create the feeling of hunger. When my kidneys detect a high concentration of sodium,
yes, sir,
those
Mari.
signals travel to my brain and make me feel thirsty. So what is the physiologic or neuroscientific correlate? What's going on in our brain when we subjectively feel bored? This is a craving for dopamine. Okay, so let's understand this and think about it and see if this really fits. Hey y'all, if you're interested in applying some of the principles that we share to actually create change in your life, check out, well, there's no mind. They actually does your journey, thing like that. So when I feel bored, what do I do?
Chat, what do y'all do when y'all feel bored? Do y'all goon? A, goon. B, rest. C, work out. D, bullshit. You a Crip today? Nah, nigga. So my shirt is my school, but I didn't want to have my school on the internet, even though niggas would probably search it up. But it's my school, so just to cover that, I got my my hoodie on, and it was the first one I found. And then I don't have a blue do rag, so I'm just wearing this random one I found. But nah, why you ask that, clumsy? You Crip or something? Like you know some Crips? He's trying to get me caught up in shit.
This is a feeling that causes me to engage in a behavior, right? So I pull out my phone.
You Crip. My fault. You blood gang. You blood, my boy.
I use a device, something like that. I want to do something to no longer feel bored. So then I give in to this behavioral drive, right? And then I pull out my phone, then my brain gets dopamine, and now I no longer feel bored. I don't feel great. I don't feel like I'm using my time well, but that...
See, but that's the thing. Like, I don't understand when it comes to being on your phone all the time, right? So, sure, you're bored. Say you're at work. You're bored. You pull out your phone, dopamine hit. So then that causes your body then to increase your dopamine level threshold. Hope this not going over any dumb niggas' heads. Over your dopamine threshold to a point in which life doesn't feel sufficient enough in order to stimulate you to a level in which you feel like you're willing to continue thriving and pushing forward to reach new levels, to thus hit your mark or the goal in which you want in life. That way you can receive the dopamine once you receive that goal. I feel like I said a whole bunch of everything, but ultimately, bro, it's our parents were right. It was the damn phone all along. It's the damn phone. The phone has been the issue. The phone is gonna be humanity's downfall. It's social media game. Like, bro, we're the first generation to really be brought up with like this amount of technology, and we already see in Gen Alpha the wisdom of an old ass crip. Chill, bro. Chill, man. It's just the wisdom of a smart ass nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? Like a cute, smart ass nigga, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Dropping wisdom on your young ass gang. You know what I'm saying? Had to let niggas know type shit. But yeah, bro. It's like social media, bro. And like I'm trying to like stay away from it, but at the same time, still have dreams and passion to be a streamer and to cultivate not only a following but a space in which people can connect, share ideas, and just be themselves. You seen the MJ biopic trailer, bro? Shit peak. React to it next. MJ biopic trailer. No, bro, I ain't seen it. I'll bet I'm gonna check that out. Appreciate the suggestion. I'm gonna check that out. I don't know what that is.
Subjective, intense feeling of boredom goes away.
Oh, came
So
out
the
today?
other thing that we need to
Oh, bet.
understand
All right.
is that boredom is
Oh, damn, my screen.
also, not only is it a craving, it is also correlated with dopamine withdrawal. So when I have a certain level of dopamine activity in my nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental area, I feel like I'm enjoying myself, right? So dopamine gives us a sense of pleasure. It gives us a behavioral reinforcement. So whatever gives us the pleasure, we want to do again. But then once the dopamine transmission starts to drop down, what do we feel? We start to feel bad. We feel restless. We feel a lot.
And that is true. That is true. Once you no longer have that stimulus in which you feel like that dopamine from, say if you're gooning, right? It feels good in a moment. Sure. Every man in this chat right now knows what gooning feels like. I'm looking you in your eyes. You know what gooning feels like, nigga. Hope you don't forget that feeling. It's amazing. But you know what's even better? A real girl. My fault. Alright, niggas wanna lie now. Cool. Y'all lucky I didn't hit y'all with the full screen, alright? But, bro, that stimulus you feel like that, as soon as you're done, what happens? You no longer feel good, right? You no longer feel good. That's what it feels like. Sure, you get your phone, turn it on. Boom, dopamine hit. And you turn it off. You wait a little bit, that dopamine goes away. Sure, Mirror. Alright, Mirror, sure. This nigga. Alright, anyways, but yeah, bro, you get that dopamine hit and it disappears, and now you're back to baseline dopamine level or below baseline because it fell down below where it's normally supposed to be. And now all of a sudden you feel depressed. Life's boring. You feel like what's the purpose? And then once you hear niggas asking what's the purpose, that's how you know they gooning too much, or these niggas have no fucking dopamine left because they be on social media too much. So what is the answer? Because social media is so integrated and like developed in our lives. What can we do in order to help alleviate the symptoms that it comes with being on social media as much as we do, and the effects in which it can give us down the line? Because these are just what's short-term effects. This is what we see now from when's the first time y'all got your phone? Like 11, 12, when you had to call your parents come home on the bus or something? Like, bro, like Edis. From that point on, bro, we've been raised by social media. Social media, our personalities is a cultivation of your family and friends, but a lot of it comes from social media and what you see. If your social media, if the government was able to, which they are, but if the government specifically chose you and put certain stuff on your social media, they could raise you, make you who they wanted you to be. That's how much effect social media had on us growing up. It's crazy when you think about it like that. It's the shit that they be putting on our screens. That's why they push, say if you're a white Caucasian kid, right? They push on the phone itself. Hey, social media push the image that black people doing crimes, black people not in school, black people rappers, entertainers, athletic as shit. Now, what do you think the white kid's gonna grow up that's been, mainly around white groups? Sure, black people here and there, but never too close with them. What's the first thought of a black person? What they see on social media. because social media is able to connect us into each other's lives in which we would never have known beforehand. Is it better or worse? There's cons and pros. Do the cons and pros outweigh each other? It depends who you ask. Because at the end of the day, it all depends on who controls it. And who controls it? The government. And do we honestly trust the government? But I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. So I'm turning a 10-minute video into like 30 minutes. Let me
A lot of
chill.
negative emotions sometimes. There's all kinds of negative things that we feel until we start using the device again. Boredom is also the subjective feeling of dopamine withdrawal. And this is kind of what we know, right? We know that all of these technological devices are addictive, but if they are addictive, that also means they are undergoing the principles of addiction in your brain. And if you want to understand how to feel less bored in your life, we're going to walk you through some neuroscience, okay? So there's one thing that I want to say now, which is the solution to this is very simple. The more bored you are today, the less bored you will be tomorrow. The less bored you are today, the more bored you will be tomorrow.
Okay. So I have an issue, right? I don't like being alone with my own thoughts. Like, I'm being vulnerable here. I'm making sure, chat, you can hear me and understand this, right? Whoever's here, you know what I'm saying? Y'all getting real me right now. I'm being vulnerable. I don't like being alone with my thoughts. Personally, I view my thoughts as a background noise in which I don't want to hear. You know? Because I've learned that some people, they don't have an internal monologue. Like, you can't read a sentence in your head. You know what I mean? Like, you can read a sentence, but you don't hear a voice in your head reading the sentence. I can hear someone in my head talking all the time. There's never a blank moment. And so to drown that out, I feel like I always have to have a background sound or noise. So when I'm taking my shower, I bring my phone with me. When I brush my teeth, yeah, gang, those is demons. Ah, shit, bro. Damn, man, you caught me, gang. Ah, damn, nah. Jesus Christ, please. Let that not be true, man. Clumsy, don't wish that on me, nigga. But yeah, bro. Yeah, I take my phone with me in the shower. When I brush my teeth, wash my face, I always have to have my phone, YouTube, something playing. That's why I pay for YouTube Premium. Not because of streaming. I pay because I'm on that shit 24/7. Most of my watch time is probably like 24 hours of just straight YouTube. I'm on that shit at work, AirPod in ear, my phone underneath in the little crevice of my desk. So if someone walks by, they can't really see it unless they really searching. They can't really see it. It's something playing. There's always in my life, there is always something playing or something going on. In the rare chance there isn't, I can say it's not as bad as what I think it is. But do I choose for that? No, I don't. I don't choose to not listen to anything. I don't choose to listen to or just listen to myself. I don't choose for silence. I always want there to be chaos. I always want there to be sound. I always want to hear something so I'm not hearing myself speak. And I understand like that's something that's going to weigh down on me in the future. Because how am I going to self-regulate if I can't stand to be alone by myself? If this is making sense to anybody else, how can I learn to love myself? Right? Even though I do, how can I learn to love myself even more, learn more about myself if I'm not willing to sit there and be by myself at the end of the day? If I always have to have something playing, if I take a walk, I always have to have music. If I'm talking to someone, I'm not really listening to them. I'm just listening to react. I'm not listening to the conversation, just to react. Make them feel heard at the same time. But ultimately, if you took me 10 minutes later, ask me, yo, what was that conversation about? What was that person's name? A new person? I couldn't fucking tell you. So I think I also have a problem with like being in the moment as well. And ultimately, I feel like it could have sprouted from the fact that I don't want to be in a moment with myself. So why would I want to be in a moment with anybody else? So sometimes I do feel like I'm living life on autopilot, but it stems from a whole bunch of different stuff, man. Maybe if I went to therapy, I'd be able to like dig into a little bit more, but yeah, bro, it's kind of hard to say. Ultimately, I don't like being alone. I don't like being in my own thoughts. I can be alone, like I'm an introvert at the end of the day, but I don't like being alone with myself. I can talk to myself any day of the week. But if I go to sleep and my Alexa isn't playing raining sounds, I will probably wake up and have to tell her, yo, turn on raining sounds. It's tough, but you know what I'm saying? Just a little vulnerability for y'all niggas, man. Let you know I
And
love
this
you.
mirrors completely with addiction. If we look at someone who's addicted to opioids, what has
Damn, he's clocking my shit. I'm addicted to my phone. He clocked me.
to happen? They actually have to withdraw. They have to experience the negative effects of withdrawal for some amount of time so their body kind of basically recalibrates to normal. And this is exactly what we see with dopamine as well in all these devices, is that the more bored you are willing to be today, the less bored you will be in the future. So let's dive into a bit of the neuroscience. The first thing that we're going to talk about is dopaminergic transmission at the synapse. So normally what happens is we have two neurons that meet. One of them will release dopamine, one of them will receive dopamine, and they have dopamine receptors, okay?
Okay.
So let's say we've got about 5
He ain't lose me
receptors,
yet.
and
He
we
ain't
have a
lose me yet.
regular amount of dopamine transmission. Now, if I do a dopaminergic activity like use TikTok, then the dopaminergic dump in the synapse increases. I start secreting a lot more dopamine. And then
Okay.
my receptors are fully saturated, so they get a big dopamine signal.
Okay.
And then we feel really great. This feels
You feel really good. So that euphoric feeling you feel when you're gooning. Yes, you nigga. Don't think I forgot about you. Yes, the nigga in the back, in the chair, in the hotel in the chair watching. Yes, you. Gooning. That euphoric feeling you feel right before you're about to bust. While you're busting. Not after, the before. That feeling is what he's talking about.
awesome. But our body does something that really, really is unfortunate, which is that it develops tolerance. The way
Bro, that's the worst thing, bro. Because, like, that's the thing. Like, I've developed tolerance to a fact which I'm so used to my phone and something speaking, some noise in the background. Like, I can't bear to want to be alone and in silence. Like, that just shivers. It's like shivers down my back. Like, that's just something I'm not used to because I haven't built a tolerance for it. So basically, I just need to stop being a bitch and just peel the band-aid off and do exactly what this doctor is saying.
that it manages this is there's a part of the neuron that this is not the part of the neuron that feels pleasure. We feel pleasure subjectively, but the neuron is like, hey, wait a second. We're getting bombarded with dopamine. We need to tone that signal down. This is the principle of tolerance. So if we think about someone who drinks alcohol, when I first started drinking, 2 beers would get me drunk, but as I drink more and more and more, my body develops a tolerance. And so we develop a tolerance to dopamine. The mechanism of tolerance is withdrawal of receptors from our synapse. So whereas we used to have 5 receptors, now we only have 2. And if the number of receptors is lower, the total amount of dopamine signal that we can get actually drops because we don't have space for all of that dopamine that TikTok is dumping in. The goal of the synapse is to keep our dopamine at an even level. Now, this creates a big problem because unless we are bombarding our synapse with dopamine, now the dopamine signal is going to be effectively too low. So even if we have a regular amount of dopamine for something like reading a book, or my favorite is watching a TV show, and the TV show, even though it's a show that you want to watch, you pull out your phone in the middle of the TV show. Like, what the hell is going on there, right? And it's not like you're really enjoying being on your phone or you're enjoying the TV show. It's
Honestly, bro, it's because I don't care. Like, it may be a boring part. Like, bro, me and my cousin when he was here for Halloween weekend, bro, that nigga, he couldn't bear to watch any boring parts in The Witcher because The Witcher just came out that Friday. He couldn't bear. That nigga had to skip through it. Cash, if you're still in here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You had to skip through that shit, bro. And same for me. Anytime some boring shit come out, whether it's a movie, TV show, anything, I'm pulling up my phone, I'm going on TikTok scrolling. My girl does that too. It's crazy. It's crazy because back in the day, niggas didn't do that. You just had to bear through it, sit through it. And that thought of sitting through something that you don't want to watch anymore, or that may be a little slow in a TV show, it's like foreign. Because why would you want to do that? You have a whole computer in your pocket. You can actually look at something that's interesting while you let the slow parts of the show or TV, of the movie or show, continue to play.
like you're kind of half doing both. And like, what is going on in your brain? That's because your brain is craving that dopamine. Now, the problem is that once we downregulate our dopamine receptors, once we develop dopaminergic tolerance, all of the other activities in life become less fun. Books, which secrete 5 units of dopamine, can't compete with TikTok's 20 or 30 units.
Fuck no. Who reads books anymore? Who reads books anymore? Come on, man, grow up. This nigga think it's 1997. Nigga, we're in 2025, my boy. There's men in girls' bathroom now. Who reads books anymore? Come on, what are we talking about?
Of dopamine. And what this creates over time is that the more that you use these devices, the more you use these platforms, the more bored you will be. Why is that? Because remember, boredom is a subjective craving for dopamine. It's a dopamine signal that feels too low, and then we become dependent on platforms or TikTok or whatever to give us that dopamine. How do we solve this? What we basically need to do is reverse the process. What we need to do is add more receptors to our neurons. And the way that we do that is by being bored. So this is what's really cool. When we're bored, that means that the dopamine signal is too low. So when the dopamine signal is too low, what does the neuron do? It adds more receptors. The more receptors it adds, the more you will derive pleasure. Now, our sensitivity to dopamine has increased, right? It's the opposite of tolerance. Now, when I sit down to read a book, I get plenty of dopamine. It's actually really fun. Even when I do things like go for a walk, suddenly this feels pleasurable. When I hang out with friends, this feels pleasurable. Sitting outside on my porch and watching the sunset starts to feel pleasurable. This is the really, really crippling thing. We've created a society where we get so much dopamine that when we develop this tolerance, the normal activities in life start to feel boring. So what we want to do is reverse this dopamine tolerance. Then what'll happen is we'll start to recruit this principle called dopaminergic flexibility. So as our dopamine sensitivity increases, we start to get something really cool, which is something called dopaminergic flexibility. And this means we become more flexible around which activities secrete dopamine. So if you're spending a lot of time on your phone or on TikTok or whatever, the number of activities that you will find pleasurable actually decreases. Our dopaminergic circuits are not flexible. It's basically TikTok or video games or porn or marijuana or whatever. That's the only thing that works. But as our dopaminergic flexibility increases, we will find that we can enjoy all kinds of different things, which we've already talked about. So that's one of the key principles here. So what we want to do is basically be as bored as possible for a period of time. And that boredom is literally our brain upregulating our dopaminergic receptors, and we will have more fun in the future. There's one last thing that we want to be a little bit careful about, which is that when we are bored, there's another mechanism in our brain that is going to activate, which is that we are going to get a hyperactivation of our limbic system and amygdala. The other effect that TikTok and these platforms have is by suppressing our emotions. And so when I add an emotional suppressor to my system, when I take that suppressor away, there's a rebound level of negative emotion. So when I'm suppressing my anxiety through drinking or TikTok or whatever, when I stop using that app, I will have a rebound anxiety. I'll feel a ton of intense anxiety. And when I work with people, this is kind of what I tell them. The more anxiety you let come up, this is all dormant anxiety that's been stored and packed away. It's not going to feel that way forever. As you experience a lot of that anxiety or a lot of that depression when you start to feel bored, right? Because we don't feel good emotionally when we're bored. We're kind of looking for something to do. Yeah. All of this stuff will basically, hopefully, fingers crossed, balance out. If it doesn't, you should absolutely go see a medical professional, go see a psychiatrist, go see a therapist, because there could be an underlying disorder. But this is the last thing that I wanted to tell y'all is when you're dealing with this boredom, be prepared for an upsurge of negative emotions that should ideally taper down in about a week. So if you want to start enjoying life, if you want to be less bored, you need to start being more bored. Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed today's video.
Bro, amazing video. Amazing video.